Hey everyone, and welcome back. Get ready, because today we're diving into some serious drama, ancient style. We're talking royal intrigue, power grabs, the kind of stuff that would make even the juiciest reality show look tame.
It's true. Buckle up because we're heading straight into the heart of the Kingdom of Judah. Think kings and queens, shaky alliances, and a whole lot of religious drama.
And where are we getting this historical scoop, you ask? Straight from the source, my friend, the Old Testament. We're cracking open 2 Chronicles, chapters 22 to 24.
These chapters offer a really unique look into this world, a world where, honestly, religion and politics were basically inseparable. Ambitions ran high, and let's just say the consequences could be brutal.
Okay, so picture this. The kingdom of Judah, a young guy named Ahaziah, just 22 years old, boom, he's the new king. But there's the catch. He takes the throne after, well, all of his older brothers are murdered. Talk about a tough act to follow.
Yeah, and you gotta realize this wasn't some random act of violence. This was a calculated move, completely shook up who was next in line for the throne, and left Ahaziah. Well, let's just say he didn't have many friends in the right places after that. It makes you wonder who benefited from all this chaos.
Right, it's like straight out of Game of Thrones, but even wilder. And get this, the text hints that Ahaziah's own mother, Athaliah, wasn't exactly the supportive mama bear you'd expect. She's portrayed as this powerful figure in his life, one who leads him down a pretty dark path.
Now, to understand this, you gotta know the chronicler, the one writing all this down, goes out of his way to connect Athaliah to this group called the House of Ahab. This family, they were infamous for being corrupt, and let's just say they weren't winning any most religious family awards. So by linking Athaliah to them, it's like he's saying, hey, Ahaziah never stood a chance with this kind of influence.
So we got a young, inexperienced king, a mother with some seriously questionable connections. What could go wrong, right?
Oh, just a little thing called a disastrous alliance. See, Ahaziah, probably listening to dear old mom a little too much, teams up with Jehoram, the king up north in Israel. At first glance, it's like, okay, smart move, unite against common enemies.
Safety in numbers, right? Classic strategy.
Right. But this alliance, it backfires spectacularly. They end up in a war against the Arameans, powerful kingdom up north. Jehoram, the king of Israel, gets mortally wounded in battle. And Ahaziah, maybe out of loyalty, maybe just bad judgment, he goes to visit him.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And you should, because this is where a new player enters the scene. A military commander, Jehu. Remember that name? He's about to become very important. This Jehu sees his opportunity in all the chaos. He's convinced he's on a mission from God to wipe out the entire house of Ahab, get rid of their wickedness once and for all.
And poor Ahaziah, just by being associated with Jehoram, ends up in the wrong place at the absolute worst time.
And let me tell you, the chronicler doesn't sugarcoat it. Jehu comes to power, and let's just say he's not afraid of a little bloodshed. He takes out anyone and everyone connected to Ahab, and yep, that includes Ahaziah. Our young king meets a grim end, denied even a proper burial. It's a harsh reminder of how dangerous the game of power could be back then.
So we've got a power vacuum, a kingdom in total chaos, and this new ambitious player, Jehu, making moves. But back in Judah, things are about to get even crazier.
Oh yeah, if you thought things were wild before, just wait. Word gets back to Athaliah, Ahaziah's mother, that her son's gone. You'd expect, I don't know, heartbreak, maybe a little devastation.
Right, a grieving mother.
But nope, not Athaliah. She sees an opportunity.
Talk about cold-blooded. This is where we really see what she's made of.
It's chilling, honestly. She decides to wipe out, and I mean completely eliminate, all potential heirs to the throne. Not just rivals, but her own grandkids. This woman is playing for keeps.
Can you imagine being a fly on the wall in that palace?
Yikes.
But hold on, amidst all this chaos, someone sees what Athaliah is doing and decides, nope, not going to let that happen. Her daughter-in-law, Jehoshaphat, steps up.
Talk about an unlikely hero. Jehoshaphat gets it. She understands what's at stake. The Davidic line, the lineage of King David himself, it's about to be snuffed out.
Okay, so that's kind of a big deal, right?
A huge deal. We're not just talking royal bloodlines here. The Davidic line, it represented the identity of Judah, their covenant promises, everything. So Jehoshaphat, she takes a massive risk. She hides Joash, the infant son of Ahaziah, the true heir.
Okay, time for a game of royal hide-and-seek. Where do you even start hiding a baby from a queen who's just orchestrated a massacre?
Well, Jehoshaphat, she's got a plan, and it's a bold one. She hides Joash in the temple.
The temple, that's like hiding right under her nose. What was she thinking?
Remember, the temple, it was sacred ground, a place of refuge, even for someone accused of a crime. By hiding Joash there, she's not just protecting him physically, she's making a statement. Athaliah, totally illegitimate. She's basically spitting in the face of tradition.
So for 6 years, Athaliah, she's sitting pretty on the throne, thinking she's won. And all that time, the real heir, he's literally growing up right there in the temple.
It's an incredible image, isn't it? This kid, the future of the Davidic dynasty, hidden in plain sight. Talk about dramatic irony.
I know, it makes you wonder, how do you keep a secret like that for 6 years? Someone had to know.
And this is where another key player enters the picture, a priest named Jehoiada. He becomes crucial in keeping Joash safe, and ultimately, well, he's the one who puts the plan in motion to get Joash back where he belongs.
Jehoiada the priest, huh? Sounds like this guy's got some serious guts taking on Queen Athaliah.
Jehoiada, he's an interesting one. Not just a priest, He understood how power worked. He knew he couldn't just, parade Joash out of the temple and expect everyone to suddenly bow down. This had to be, strategic.
So what do you do? Start a revolution? Did he have some secret army of priests ready to fight?
More like he played the long game very carefully. Over those 6 years, he's secretly gathering support. Other priests, Levites, even some of the military captains, anyone who wasn't too keen on Athaliah's style of ruling, he built a whole network just waiting for the right moment.
Talk about a slow burn. It's like biblical Ocean's 11 or something. So when does this master plan finally go down?
All right, so year 7 of Athaliah's reign, Jehoiada makes his move. He brings Joash out of hiding, presents him to everyone who's in on the plan, and get this, they crown him king. Right there in the temple.
Oh, that's a power move.
Ugh.
Crowning Joash in the very place Athaliah tried to take over. I bet she wasn't too thrilled about that.
You know, say that again. So Athaliah, she hears all this commotion, trumpets blaring, people cheering. She rushes over to the temple and bam, there he is. Joash, standing by a pillar, symbol of strength, everyone calling him king. She's losing it, cries out, treason, the classic.
Yeah, I bet that went over well.
Not so much. It's too late for Athaliah. Jehoiada, he's got the people on his side. They're backing their rightful king. Athaliah, she's arrested, taken out of the temple, and, that's the end of her reign.
What a downfall.
Yeah.
Right. So Athaliah's out of the picture. Joash is finally king. Everything's going to be smooth sailing from here on out.
Right. Oh, if only history were that simple. So yeah, Joash starts strong. Jehoiada guides him. They get to work restoring the temple, sorting out the offerings, the whole 9 yards. He's trying to get Judah back on track, religiously speaking.
Sounds like he's got things under control. What happened?
Well, Jehoiada, he lives to be, get this, 130 years old. Talk about a long life. But after he dies, Joash, let's just say he goes down a different path. Starts listening to the wrong people, abandons all those religious reforms they put in place, and then he makes a decision that's eerily similar to something his dear grandma Athaliah might have done. He orders the execution of Zechariah.
Zechariah,
Mm-hmm.
as in Jehoiada's son. Talk about adding insult to injury. It's like
Yeah.
classic case of history repeating itself,
Yeah.
right? People turning away from everything they're supposed to stand for.
Yeah, and just like those old stories always tell us, there are consequences. So they're stoning Zechariah, and with his dying breath, he cries out, "May the Lord see and avenge." And you know what? The Lord, he delivers.
Oh boy, this doesn't sound good for Joash. What happens to him?
Let's just say it doesn't end well. Joash, he faces invasions, rebellions, and in the end, he's betrayed by his own people, assassinated by his servants, even denied a proper burial in the royal tombs.
Man, what a story. We've got palace intrigue, a daring escape, a king restored, and then, a pretty spectacular fall from grace. Really makes you think about how power can corrupt and how we're all capable of repeating the mistakes of the past. Yeah.
It really does. And the fact that the chronicler chose to focus on this specific chain of events, it leaves us with more questions than answers, right? What was it about these rulers, these specific choices that felt important to highlight? What were they trying to say to people back then? And honestly, what can we learn from all this about leadership, about faith, about the dangers of power?
Big questions, for sure. But it just goes to show you, even stories from thousands of years ago, they can still resonate with us today. Well, that's it for this deep dive, folks. Thanks for joining us. And remember, history is full of surprises, cautionary tales, and maybe even a few lessons we can all take to heart. See you next time.
Welcome to Charlie and Mia's podcast. We're embarking on an exciting journey to read through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Every day, we dive into Scripture, exploring its meanings and how it applies to our lives today. We invite you to join us on this incredible adventure of learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.